Good morning, leaders. For today's topic, we are going to tackle about the modern world system. I am Janica Hachunava, together with Jana Panaligan, will be your presenter. For our objectives, at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to gain understanding about the modern world system, learn about theories and their vital roles, and identify the origin of world system and its significance. We have here Immanuel Wallerstein, as seen in the picture. He was an American sociologist and economic historian, whereas the world systems theory was articulated in large part by him. And then, when we say sociologists, they are the one who studies human behavior, interaction, and organization. Naniniwala sila na ang social surroundings ay may impluensya in line with our thought and action. And also, Wallerstein described high-income nations as the core of the world economy. The world system theory, the idea that a discernible social system based on wealth and power differentials and transcends individual countries. So in addition guys, the world systems theory suggests that all individual national economies are deeply interconnected, especially via the flow of labor and resources from the periphery to the core. So in the next following slide, we'll figure what does it mean when we say periphery and core. So when we say core countries, these are the wealthy, powerful countries that import raw materials, manufacture finished products, then export those products for sale. Periphery countries naman are those poor countries that export raw materials to core countries and import finished products. While the semi-periphery countries are the countries that serve as a peripheries to the core countries and as core to the periphery countries. So, madali lang naman siyang intindihin. Yung nakakalito lang dito, I think, is yung semi-periphery, which serve as a peripheries to the core country. Meanwhile, it serves also as a core to the periphery country, which means that these three has a connection together. For you to better understand, the example of periphery countries are Bolivia, Chad, Haiti, Kenya, and Philippines. Yes, you heard it right, guys. Unfortunately, our country is one of the so-called periphery countries, which means it is a poor country that export raw materials. So, mapapansin nyo din naman yun sa bansa natin. We are trying to sell goods in other countries and import raw materials. Moving forward, that as discussed about the origin of the world system. Origins. It is mentioned here that this system began to form in the 15th century in Europe with an expansion of trade. Meanwhile, capitalism is the production of large amount of goods with the intent of selling them for profit. So guys, remember that the essential feature of capitalism is always the motive to make a profit. Here, don't forget to remember these four, which are very essential for a capitalism to work. Here, you need first, capital, which means a wealth that can be invested to produce a profit. Second, labor to produce goods. Third is raw materials to turn into goods. And lastly, consumers to purchase goods. Next, the Columbian Exchange. It is the sudden explosion of ideas, resources, products, and so forth that flowed between Europe and the Americas following Columbus' discovery. So, the Columbian Exchange was an exchange of plants, fruits, vegetables, disease, and other items between the old world for you to better understand, which includes Europe, Asia, and Africa. And then boom, Europe expands. Here now remember the key terms imperialism and colonialism. So when we say imperialism, it is all about a policy of extending the rule. Meanwhile, colonialism, it is about a cultural domination of a territory. Now let us move forward with industrialization. So when we say industrialization, this is a shift in the means of production from human labor to mechanized production. Industrial Revolution means the major restructuring of European society as it is industrialized beginning about 1700s. So take note that the first Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain in the mid to late 1700s and the second Industrial Revolution naman began in the US in the late 1800s. That saw further advancements in technology that led to greater efficiency. As seen in the picture, we have here Karl Marx, that was born on the year of 1818 and died on the year of 1883. Of course, he is a theorist who studied the economic and social effects of industrialization. So Marx also argued that the Industrial Revolution had polarized the gap between the owners of the means of production and the workers even more. And in line with the industrialization, we have here the bourgeois, or also known as the capitalists. These are the wealthy ones and powerful class that owns and controls the means of production. And then the second one is the proletariat, which means workers. Those who work for the bourgeois to earn a wage. So, madali lang naman siya intindihin. Yung bourgeois, guys, ito yung pinagtatrabahuan o nagpapatrabaho. Then, the proletariats are the one na nagtatrabaho just like our employees in the government. In line with the Marxist theory, a capitalist exploit the workers by alienating them from their labor. By the word, it means alienating or alienation. It is the removal of a worker's control over his own labor. Also, workers will eventually revolt and this exploitation and abolish private property. Lastly, history will go from capitalism to socialism to communism. The biggest difference here between them three is that socialism is compatible with liberty and democracy, while communism depends on an authoritarian state, to create an equal society. The middle class, a wage-earning class in between the owners and the workers, which is paid well enough to benefit from the capitalist system. They are also a social class that emerged during the industrialization and modernization of societies. Now let us proceed with the end of colonialism. Industrialization ends colonialism. With industrialization, production is only possible in the home country. But colonialism existed to force colonies to send raw materials to the home country. And now periphery countries will export voluntarily. Lastly, colonial empires begin to break apart in the 20th century. So guys, let us also remember that industrialization played a significant role in the end of colonialism in several ways. For industrialization allowed the development of powerful industrialized nations which were able to assert their economic and political dominance over less developed countries. Next is decolonization. It is the process of a colonial power withdrawing and colony returning to self-rule. By withdrawing, it allows these regions to become independent nations. And when we say post-colonial nation naman, it refers to one that used to be a colony. Next is the post-colonial economy, which export more raw materials to buy more manufactured goods, and leads to ecocide, refers to ecological destruction through non-sustainable extraction of natural resources. And then for additional information, post-colonial period, guys, refers to the era following the end of colonialism. Take note, by learning about economic globalization, we are able to know about the issues and debates about it. We're also able to think critically about solutions to the various problems brought by globalization. So indeed, if we have a better understanding of it, guys, no, or if we are aware about what is happening around us, we are able to contribute by having a answer or resolution for that case. We can offer our different ideas in that certain problem that is happening around our country or even nation. Bilang isang mamamayan, responsibilidad natin na maging responsable at makatulong sa kahit maliit o anumang paraan yan. So yes, that's it. We hope that you have learned something and thank you for listening.